When you mention the term stay-at-home mom, it often will paint all sorts of pictures in people's minds, and people keep wondering, what does a stay-at-home mom do? And we know that part of these pictures that come in your mind or my mind have to do with certain truths or even myths that surround the whole area of a stay-at-home mom. And in today's video, I thought to share some of the myths that are out there concerning stay-at-home moms. Welcome to Formations of a Noble Woman. This is a channel where we share matters womanhood and the woman seeking the mind of God concerning the same, so that you and I can align our lives to His will and purpose. And I share this in the light of us being a stay-at-home mom, because really that's where I am. And if this is the kind of content you like, consider subscribing, hit the notification bell. You'll be notified every time I upload new content. Before we go into these myths, I would want us to pray so that we can trust the Lord to grant us His insight into what I'm sharing. Indeed, that's our prayer, that you would grant us insight and help us, Father, to glorify you, and help us, Father, so that we will align our lives to your will and purpose in understanding what we are talking about today. So be with me and my viewer in Jesus' name. Amen. We will go right into the myths that are out there concerning stay-at-home moms. And the first one is that stay-at-home moms are lazy and idle. I mean, just ask anyone, particularly in the marketplace or even in your normal person. A lot of people think that stay-at-home moms are at home because they are lazy, they are idle, they do not want to work. As a matter of fact, I was having a conversation with such a mom with her 4 young children at home, and her family is on her case, wondering, she has a good education, why can't she go? She just wants to stay at home and do nothing. And so that's a myth that many people have about stay-at-home moms. And the truth is, being a stay-at-home mom and having observed many others, I know that stay-at-home moms are some of the most hardworking mothers I know. And if you look at a stay-at-home mom's life, right from when they wake up to evening when they sleep, they have a lot. Personally, like in the last video, I said, I wish I had more hours than 24 hours, but I know God in His wisdom gave us 24 hours. Because if I would have had, I rarely finish my goals in a day because I am just so busy. And that's not just my case. I know many stay-at-home moms who wish they had a lot more time, but they have so much on their hands. So they are not lazy or idle. And that takes us to our second point. Another myth that people have about stay-at-home moms. Stay-at-home moms didn't make it in life, and so they are at home because they have nothing else to do. And again, this is a myth that is prevalent, especially in our culture that has embraced the feministic viewpoint. Perhaps they didn't pass their exam, perhaps they are therefore not employable, quote unquote, and so they have chosen to stay at home because they didn't make it in life. But interestingly, a lot of our stay-at-home moms, now that I tend to know a number of them, many of them now, because I am a stay-at-home mom, are people who went to school. Some of them have very good certificates. They have diploma certificates, higher diploma certificates, degrees. Some of them have even gone to masters, but they have chosen to stay at home. So that's really a myth that I would bust, because I know that that's not true. Now let's get to our next point. Again, just around the first 2 points that we did, is that another myth is stay-at-home moms have no formal education or training. Perhaps they dropped out of school, or perhaps they just got to Form 4, grade 12, I believe, as in our country, where they didn't have opportunity to go to college, and therefore they have no formal training. And for some, even they were not educated at all, and so they have no formal education, and that's why they have chosen to stay at home. You see, many people don't imagine, especially in our country, that when you have a full education, you have a degree, like this woman I was talking about, you're a nurse, others are teachers, trained teachers, others have taken up different careers, but they have chosen to stay at home. and be with their children. So that what I'm saying is that this again is a myth that we need to bust, because it's not true. Stay-at-home moms are not. Yes, there could be some who are at home because they didn't get a formal education, but you will find even those, when they are at home, and especially with husbands who are concerned, they will help them get some kind of formal education, some kind of course, some kind of training, really, because we are not staying at home because we don't have formal education or a training. Actually, the fact that I got a formal education, the fact that I got a training helps me to be a mom that is equipped much more to minister to my family and those even who visit our home. I am equipped much more to understand the problems my children have as I take them through homeschooling, for those who choose to homeschool, because I got a formal education. So that's again a myth that I am sharing and then busting it because it's not true. And the next myth is that stay-at-home moms cannot express themselves and they have a low self-esteem, therefore. And again, I know this is a myth that is not necessarily true. There could be a grain of truth in that, perhaps with some, but most of the stay-at-home moms I know are women who have a high esteem in the Lord, for us who know the Lord, and they are able to do the will of God as He enables them, can interact with other women very freely. Because if you look at the other ones we shared, they have a good education, but they've chosen to stay at home. They have something to do. It's not that they have nothing to do, because they have chosen to do it at home, and also to be at home for the sake of their children and for the sake of their families. And so we know they have a well-rounded esteem. Personally, I keep investing my hours in reading, investing my hours in learning something new, because I'm not only staying at home to take care of my children, to be there for my husband, I'm also there doing other things within the context of the home. And so if you ask me a question, I know I can express myself. We are doing, I believe, the best job that anybody can do, raising the next generation, raising a godly offspring. And so it's right in the will of God, and that gives us a Christ-centered esteem. And the other one, especially in our country, is that I am a stay-at-home mom, or stay-at-home moms have chosen to be stay-at-home moms because they have no money to employ a house help. Again, that's a myth we want to bust. It's true, I could choose to be at home because it will save me that cost of employing a house help. And I'm saying, especially in the context of our country, where having a house help is considered as something classy. I have the means because I'm able to employ a house help or two. I'm able to employ people here and there. I'm living by a certain standard in society, but that doesn't mean I am home because I cannot afford a house help. The truth is, I am at home because I am convinced I am the best person to be with my children. I am the best person to raise them up. I'm the best person to impact the knowledge of God, to impact a godly character, to train them up in the way that they should go as the scriptures command me. So I am home for that reason. And the next myth is that stay-at-home moms cannot engage in an income-generating activity, and if they do, it will most likely fail. Well, that's also a myth. I know many stay-at-home moms. Actually, a lot of what I read online many times towards women concerning children are blogs written by stay-at-home moms. There are channels that are being done by stay-at-home moms. A lot of the content we consume has been done by stay-at-home moms, and the Lord, in His mercy, especially for many of us who are trusting the Lord for an extra source of income now that we are staying at home and our husbands are the ones working, many of these stay-at-home moms get their income from doing the things that you and I are reading about online. And we know also stay-at-home moms who have started successful businesses that they run right from the home as the base. And I know stay-at-home moms who also do their own products and they sell, and in the process they are able to make money. It's true, it may take a while to build that kind of income where you can work on it yet you're at home, but it certainly works for many stay-at-home moms that I know. And I know that that's also another myth, that if you're perhaps considering being a stay-at-home mom, do not be discouraged. It could take long to build up such an activity, but it will eventually happen. And the other myth that we could talk about is the stay-at-home moms are not progressive, they are not forward thinking. And I think the fact that we stay a lot just working with children most of the day, and we don't seem to engage with adults in conversation. And I think this has just to do with, right from what we were discussing from the beginning, perhaps they don't have a formal education, or even if they do, just staying in that context causes you to be rusty in your mind, causes you not to know what's going on the news, causes you not, therefore, to be able to be of ministry to others. And so there's nothing anyone can learn from you because you're being left behind by your counterparts who are in the marketplace. And of course, that is not true, because like I have said, we will find ourselves spending a lot of time personally in reading, personally in getting to know what's going on, asking my husband questions, even as we interact with others out there, perhaps in a church or in a fellowship. You get to know a lot more. You tend even to work on some of the areas that would hinder you from being all that God intended you to be. And I find that when I stay around stay-at-home moms, we are able to talk about topics that are not necessarily progressive from a worldly point of view, because we are talking about subjects that affect real lives, and that is children. We are encouraging ourselves in the walk towards godliness, and such that may not seem progressive by the worldly standards, and yet by God's standard, these topics are very progressive as we seek, because we know we are raising a godly offspring. The next one is that the stay-at-home mom life is just outdated and myopic. And I'm sure this came from the fact that in the past, as you and I know, a lot of our mothers stayed at home, worked in the farm, took care of us that way. And then when we got an education, a lot of us went away to school and we got jobs and we started working, so that it is assumed the more educated you are, the more being a stay-at-home mom is outdated. It is myopic. It is considered backward. And when you mention I'm a stay-at-home mom or I'm a housewife, a lot of people will associate that with a lifestyle that is outdated. This kind of lifestyle I have, it is not outdated. It is not myopic. I love it. I enjoy it. My children enjoy my being here. I do not see any outdatedness in it, especially when I think of the fact that I am influencing my children for good, for the glory of God, rather than entrusting another person to do it. And many times you will find, especially in our country, we will have house helps who are probably a dropout of school. Many of them are passing values to our children that we would never have imagined they would. A lot of the lives of our children, many of us parents are shocked when they turn out differently, and we wonder what we did wrong. And sometimes it's just a person you brought to your home and you thought they should be impacting your children because they are a little older than them, but the truth is they have impacted them for the negative experiences that will never get out of them, or if they do, by the mercy of God, and He saves them and He works in them. It takes a lot for a child to overcome some of the things they have gone through. And yet we are here saying it is outdated and myopic to choose to stay with your own children and impact godly values to them. May the Lord help us. But this is not judgmental, because I know people are in the workplace for various reasons. Some of us are even in the workplace because perhaps my husband lost a job, or perhaps he is unable to work for some reason or another, or I'm even widowed, or I'm a single mother. I'm not talking about the exceptions, because I know we will have them in society and we know the grace of God abounds. I'm talking about your normal stay-at-home mom who chooses to stay at home for the sake of the children, for the sake of the family. The other one that stay-at-home moms are accused of, that is a warped view, is that anybody can take care of your children. Any house help, you can employ someone to do that work so that you can make money to have a wonderful future for your children. Now you can see that confusion of sorts that is there, that I am warped because I'm choosing to stay with my children. I have a warped view of that parenting should be done by anybody. You do the other work that your house help cannot do. Bring in the money and she will do the work, and the Lord directs parenting towards parents. Train up a child in the way that they should go. This is not directed to a house help. When the Lord says he brings them together so that they can raise a godly offspring, it's about the will of God for parents to raise a godly offspring. Marriage being about one of the things, to raise a godly offspring. That has not been directed at a house help or somebody else. It's been directed at you as a mother, as a father. The other myth is that stay-at-home moms are doormats and subservient to their husbands. And of course, this again, I believe, comes, especially in our country, from the belief that our mothers worked so hard in the farm, did everything, while our fathers would just go to the marketplace, drink themselves silly, and all those things that we know would happen, so that a modern woman who is learned and doing very well would not even think about being a stay-at-home mom, because they believe that a husband is going to step on their heads, a husband is going to look down on them. But I would say that's a myth, because for a godly couple that is seeking to do the will of God and to live by it, for a husband, of course, even in spite of weaknesses on both ends of a husband and a wife, a husband who is willing to do the will of God will trust the Lord to honor their wives, will trust the Lord to love them as Christ loved the church, which is a tall order for a husband to love a wife that way. And I know many stay-at-home moms who are at home not because they are doormats. You will go into their homes, engage in talk very well, minister to others together with the husband from the home. And I know this is possible because I have experienced it, not just in my life, but in the lives of many other women that we visit and interact with. I willfully chose to be a stay-at-home mom, and I am thankful that the Lord helped me to make that decision, because I have no regrets about it, especially as I get older. And the last one is that stay-at-home moms have a warped view of parenting and children. And some will even add, no wonder they have so many children, because they don't understand the principles of parenting. Talk to any couple right now, or any woman or man, your usual one on the street, and you'll be surprised at their thinking. Many of them will think that it's good to have fewer children because of the economic times. But we know, according to the will of God, we have children because He leads, because He directs, because He helps us. If it is about having many children, God has a way of providing for them. I'm not saying that we understand, we are educated both formally and informally, so we don't make a decision to have many children because we are irresponsible. I know many stay-at-home moms will have many children because they even have more faith than you and I, who have fewer children. Others have fewer children. I have 2 children, but it has nothing to do with the fact that stay-at-home moms have a warped view of parenting. They have a warped view of children and raising children. It's a faith journey, and as the Lord leads each of us, then we do the will of God as He speaks and He enables. Actually, I was amazed just listening to one who has many children, and she says every child comes with their blessing. Somehow the Lord has a way of providing for that child. So could it be a lack of faith that many of us are thinking like the world, that it's because I should have fewer children so that I'm able to take care of them and assure them of a future? I mean, how can we assure children of a future? Only the Lord knows the future of each child. So I would say that's also a myth that I hope will get busted, at least as you continue to walk with the Lord, to listen to Him, to observe some of these stay-at-home moms who are simply living to glorify the Lord. So I'm really, really hopeful that those 10 I have given you have somehow just given you a desire to get to know more, like Paul would tell Timothy, reflect on what I am saying and the Lord will give you insight into all this. And to just see that a lot of the myths out there about stay-at-home moms are keeping a lot of women from making the choice to do that. I'm not doing this to try and convince you. I am doing this so that you just have a clear understanding of that. And if in case you are on the verge of making a decision, you can see that some of what you have heard are actually myths, and the Lord is ready to help you should you make the choice to be a stay-at-home mom, just the way I and many others have made, and we have seen the Lord at work through that. Check out this playlist again, where I am talking a lot of issues about stay-at-home moms that I pray would be a blessing to you. So thank you for joining me today. Look out for our next video, including the streams that I do on biblical chapters on womanhood. I pray those will be a blessing as well. And until then, bye.